Wow, this Terrance Gangsta with aka OG Giggity, aka Mr. Answer Right Back, aka the People Chair, aka YouTube Alley Hooper, aka YouTube Plug, aka Show Love to the People. It's Terrance Gangsta with Terrance Civilian with you. Now, introduce yourself, bro. Let them know who you are, bro.
It's Irizzy, iroc, GG's, done dollars, hyenas, scuba dollars to learn from Scuba Steve. You already know how we rocking the data. I rock with the King X. Don't forget the Kennedy, done data. You heard? Staying more righteous than ever.
All right, where you from, bro?
I'm from a lot of places, done data, but right now I settled in as an adult. I'm gonna say I settled in Providence, Rhode Island, but I'm from Brooklyn, New York, Puerto Rico, and the west side of Baltimore.
Okay, now let's back up because you confused me. Where was you born at? When you come out of mine, what hospital? What city?
I was born in Providence, Rhode Island.
Oh, okay.
I was born. I was born. My mom. Where? You gotta understand where I was born at. My mom was doing. My mom was in jail. So my mom was in training school, which is a kid jail, because she was like 16, 17 like 17. My father got caught with like 3 kilos in some house. They just happened to be in some house. So they happened to get locked up. So my father was doing 8 months and my mom was doing like 6 months, and I was in her stomach while they just happened to be in this state. You know what I'm saying? So once they left, they happened to go to Puerto Rico. You know what I'm saying? They happened to get from Puerto Rico when I was just a baby.
Oh, got you. So how? Let's start from the beginning, man. How was your pops?
My father, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? He was a regular pops. You know what I'm saying? My father was a regular pops. He was working at first, you know what I'm saying? But I guess he was, you know what I'm saying, doing a little business. He happened to have his trucking license, so he was doing trucking, but he hurt his back. My uncle, he happened to be dealing. He was dealing a little bit, you know what I'm saying? So my father happened to get into the game and shit, and blew up, became big, you know what I'm saying? Became big, became bigger than my uncle, whatever the case may be.
Okay, well, so what, did your uncle become jealous or something?
Nah, my father just was. My father was just more of a person that when he became big, and I guess, you know what I'm saying, when he became big, he had a cartel and people liked him more because my uncle was just more of a he's just more of a clown, just doing shit, just getting money, which my father was taking care of people. He's big time now, you know what I'm saying? So he's holding big weight. So the plugs from the mountains and shit like that, because there's people that's in the mountains and shit like that, they start seeing that, they start noticing it, so they start giving them weight. So boom. In different places in Puerto Rico, you can only have like one. You can only have like one project. There's projects. You know about projects, right? So if there's projects and shit like that, if there's projects and niggas are selling in the projects and shit like that, everybody got different projects and shit like that. So imagine there's somebody that owns all the projects. You know what I'm saying? 7 of them. So he has 7 different drug spots and whatnot. He had 7 different drug spots. So when he became extra big, the dollar, you know what I'm saying, he was going back to the plug. When he was going back to the plug, the dollar, he was coming up with his boy, his right hand man that he was coming up with. You know what I'm saying? So it was a situation that the dude wanted to, I guess, rob the plug or something like that. So he asked my father, "Yo, don't give the money to the plug. Give me the money." And my pop's like, "Well, what the fuck you talking about?" You know what I'm saying? So he gives the money to the plug, and from there it started a little tension between them two. You know what I'm saying? But my father was putting him on the data. So it's like my father's like, "Yo, how the fuck am I putting you on? You becoming competition, the data? Like, how can I help you become enemy? How am I helping you become my enemy, the data? If I put you on, then I'm helping you become my enemy." You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So. Right. So situation occurred that my uncle was coming out the studio or whatnot, because my uncle wanted to become this rapper, so he was becoming this rapper in Puerto Rico or whatnot, the data, you know what I'm saying? So my pops is selling, my uncle's becoming a rapper and shit like that. So my uncle's coming out the studio one day, and they hit his car up, the data, you know what I'm saying? They hit his car up with some AKs or whatever the case may be. Boom, he got shot up 4 times in the leg, whatever the case may be. So where we live inside in an gated community, Dundada. You know what I'm saying? My mom is from Brooklyn, New York. So my father met my mom in Brooklyn, New York. Like I said, they went to Rhode Island, and that's where they had me because they was locked up. You know what I'm saying? So after I was born, they skeeted out to Puerto Rico, and all that shit happened with my pops and shit like that, and he happened to become big. You know what I'm saying? In a matter of time. You know what I'm saying? So now, during that time, I'm going to private school and shit like that speaks English because my mom only know English. You know what I'm saying? My pops knows Spanish, my mom knows English. You know what I'm saying? So we speak in English and shit like that to my moms. My pops knows Spanish and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So once my uncle got shot up, the war started. You know what I'm saying? And it started with two niggas that knew each other, which was my pops and his boy. You diggy?
Mm-hmm.
So once that shit's going on, so once that shit start broiling and shit like that, boom, my pops go to New York one time, and I guess he happened to see the dude at some gaming at a gaming hall when the dude was playing some game and shit like that. So my pops happened to creep up on him. He happened to pop him, but he happened to dip. You know what I'm saying? So he didn't finish the job. Whatever the case may be, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's just that he gave the dude more animosity towards him. So now a dude that you put on and a dude that you helped out, now he shot at your brother and shot your brother up, now you catch him, and you hit him one time, and now this is a dude that killed his own cousin for $5, You know what I'm saying? The dude that my pops got beef with, this dude is like he's on a clout bench, He want people to be scared of him, so he killed his own cousin for $5, You know what I'm saying? So long story, not long story short, but we gonna keep this shit going. You know what I'm saying? But long story, long pause, no diddy, You know what I'm saying? We go, long, you know what I'm saying? Long story short, no diddy, You know what I'm saying? My pops, so he had vengeance towards them. So boom. So shit started getting scarce now in the streets. Niggas is sliding. They hitting on my grandma's spot. They hitting on my where we lived at and shit like that. But we lived in an ungated community. So my uncle, he's up in our crib. While he's getting better, cause you know what I'm saying, he's healing from the gunshot wounds or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And that's just gonna take a while. Boom. While that shit's happening, my pops is like, yo, you know what? Shit's getting a little bit thing. How about y'all go out to you go back to Brooklyn, New York and shit like that? My mom's like, yo, I don't want to be here no more. Fuck this shit. Fuck the money. Fuck all this shit. Like, I'm trying to dip up out of here, whatever the case may be. I guess that's how she's thinking. I don't know how she's thinking, but she told me, you know what I'm saying? That's how she was thinking. So long story short, my pops give my uncle and his other brother $30,000 to come to New York and shit like that. So when they come out here, his brother just automatically hop on a plane, and goes right back to Puerto Rico, So when he goes back to Puerto Rico, he goes to a club, My father figures out that he did, so he goes back to Puerto Rico, You know what I'm saying? So when he goes back to Puerto Rico, that's where they caught my father, You know what I'm saying? They shot him 14 times, whatever the case may be. They caught him outside the club. His boy, one of the dudes set him up. They killed him. They shot him 14 times, whatever. He was on the front page of the article because all the big dudes always end up on the first page of the article, you know what I'm saying? All fucked up, all flicked and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? Twisted and shit like that. Long story not long story short, but so that happened. He dies and shit like that. So now the dude that killed my father, he said, yo, where my father lives, ain't gonna be no stores, ain't gonna be no selling, ain't gonna be nothing going on there, you know what I'm saying? So later on in life, I'm growing up. As I'm growing up, as my mom leaves to Brooklyn, New York, I start to grow up. So now I'm like 11, 12 years old, growing up in the streets, seeing shit, whatever the case may be, little light shit, whatever the case going on. But I always remember what was going on because we come from a whole war. My mom's running from a war, you know what I'm saying? So I start growing. Once I start growing up in the streets, you know what I'm saying? I'm starting to find myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm starting to hang in the streets with a bunch of, we hanging in the project because my mom moved to a project over here. So I didn't hang actually in that project because I lived on the north side. You know what I'm saying? So I lived on the north side. So I moved to, we lived on the south side, but I used to hang on the north side. So I always used to walk from my neighborhood, from where I lived to a different neighborhood and hung there. So you know what I'm saying? Because that's the people I was fucked with. With the project that I was coming from, my brother started hanging there, and my brother became part of that project or whatnot. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Boom. My brother was the type of person that he fought a lot and shit like that. So he was fighting a lot, he was fighting a lot and he could beat niggas' asses and shit like that, but he happened to start going to trainer school and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So I got caught with a little BB gun and shit like that. So they tried to put me in training school, whatever, for a day, whatever the case may be, some whack shit, some weird shit. So, boom. From there, I was hanging in the streets like that. From there, my mom brought me back in the house, but I noticed something. Yo, Dada, my brother's up in training school. I almost went down for some stupid whack shit, Dada, just for carrying it, because I had a BB gun and shit like that, whatever the case may be. I was trying to be tough and shit like that. So I told my niggas that I'm going to go up in the store. So I go up in the store and shit like that. I act like, you gotta understand, I'm 12 years old. So I go up in the store, I act like I told them I was going to rob the store. But I lied. I didn't know what I was going to do in that store. So when I go up in the store, I'm just like, yo, you know what? I'm not going to rob this store. So I grab a Starburst. But when I come out the Starburst, there was 2 cops in front of the thing that happened to pick me up, whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? So boom. So while I'm growing, I'm starting to grow, I start to realize that, yo, I need to get some money. So everybody around me, I had a girl and shit like that. So I run into the hood one day. So one of my boys, he pulled out a lot of money, So he pulls out a lot of money, $3,000 and shit like that. So I'm just like, I'm with my cousin Killer, and and he's with his boy that he just brought from school and shit like that. So I'm just like, yo, what the fuck? How the fuck this nigga get $3,000, Dada? You know what I'm saying? So he had a bottle of Hennessy, like a $10 bottle of Hennessy and shit like that. So he's like, yo, he's sipping it. It's a bunch of us. So he's sipping it. He's like, no, ain't nobody sipping my Hennessy or whatever the case may be. My cousin sips the Hennessy. And he passes to me, so I sip it and shit like that. So I'm just like, yo, what the fuck, Dada? These niggas is grown. So I'm hanging with some grown ass niggas, Dada, right now, Dada. This nigga's 19. This other nigga's 18, Dada. My cousin's like 17, and I happen to be 12 years old, Dada. So now I'm just like, yo, you know what? I'm playing basketball. I got a girl. Hold up. So I go home and I call my girl. When I call my girl, nigga, I just diss her. Like, this is like, I was one of them niggas that got the baddest bitch in the school. Gigi, you good? I'm one of them niggas that got one of the baddest bitches in the school, like one of them pretty ass niggas that's still with the baddest bitch, nigga, you know what I'm saying? One of them, like, you know what I'm saying? So I still like one of them, like I was popular just cause of my bitch. Like, niggas love me just cause of the bitch I had, so boom. From there, when I seen that shit, I had to diss a nigga, because I knew maybe if I brung her to the hood, nigga, the way that these niggas was acting, nigga, they was gonna take her, These niggas is aggressive. They smacking their own bitches, You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, yo, you know what? I'm not bringing you to the hood, I gotta actually find out how I'm gonna get to the bag, You know what I'm saying? So I start hanging with my cousin, He happened to get put on. He grabbed the 14 off him, So this nigga, his boy that he just met from school, gave him a 14 of crack. You know what I'm saying? So that's 14 grams of crack, So he gave him it, My cousin bags the whole shit up, the whole shit up. He got a whole fucking thing of things. So I'm like, yo, give me a couple pieces and shit like that. So I started selling it, but it's like I could never get into it because I didn't like custies or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't, like, I was a little clean. I was cleaner. You know what I'm saying? We good?
Yeah.
We good? So yeah, so boom. So I couldn't really get into selling crack, because the custies, they, like, you know what I'm saying? They dirty and shit like that. They coming out too dirty. So I'm just like, yo, my brother knew that shit. He knew I couldn't fuck around. But my brother wasn't a nigga to even be selling nothing. My brother's just a nigga that's sticking shit up, just robbing niggas and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But long story short, I start selling weed to the niggas who sold crack. Since they all older than me, they all selling crack. Why not just buy some weed, and sell weed to them? Because they gonna start coming to me, So all my niggas, all the niggas in the hood, and that's how I started getting acquainted with real life people in the hood, you know what I'm saying? With the robbers, with the kills, with the things, and these people ain't that. Don't act like robbers, killers, street people, and all these people. That's what they are, because that's not what they are, bro. These is regular people that's just in the hood. We actually just living life. We don't know what's happening. We don't get no gratification for being that character. Everybody's something in the hood, because we grew up. It's just sitting around, and that's just what it is, You know what I'm saying? And most of the shit is just a bunch of mediocre shit, Dandada. So I start growing, Dandada. And I start seeing shit, and I'm getting a lot of popularity and shit like that, but I always had a good heart and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? What it's worth. I always had a good heart and shit like that for what it's worth, Dandada. So fucking, I brought some nigga live upstairs, Dandada, and I buy a strap. You know what I'm saying? And I buy I buy a strap, a 38 for $50 and shit like that from the nigga upstairs, Dandada, blue still. That shit was ill, Dandada. You know what I'm saying? I'm 13 now, Dandada. I'm thinking of something, a little blue still strap, Dandada. And that's how we start learning. My boy had a 4-4 bulldog. The nigga that my cousin brung around, the one I gave him the 14, he had a 4-4 bulldog, Dandada. So boom. So they learning how to fire it because they don't think that they can fire this shit because it's so big. You know what I'm saying? So they're like, yo, I don't know if I could even shoot this shit, Dandada. This shit, so this strap is mad big. So my cousin's like, yo, let me see if I can shoot it first. So everybody's trying to try it out and shit like that. So then I'm like, they holding it with two hands, trying to, you know what I'm saying, trying to see if they could bust it. These are some big muscle head ass niggas too. These people work out and shit like that. So they bust it. They busted it. Boom, boom. They're like, yo, iroc here. Try it. So I'm just like, yo, I bet. I go, boom. I just threw it. Nigga, that shit just wiggled out my shit. I just threw that shit. Just dipped to the crib. That's the first time I ever busted a gun. The first gun I ever busted was a 4-4 bulldog, Dandada. You know what I'm saying? And not that busting guns or anything is like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to, you know what I'm saying, glamorize this shit, but this is just a life story that just happened to happen, Dandada. We always gotta live in our truth till we can get to where we're going. Period, Dandada. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just how it is. Some people learn in the range and some people learn by just trying shit out, Dandada. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? So, boom. I start growing and shit like that. Dandada, you know what I'm saying? So, boom, I start growing and shit like that. Boom. I asked my mom, Dandada, yo, can you buy me a car? I'm like 14 at the time now. So I asked my mom, yo, ma, can you buy me this car? Dandada, I got the money and shit like that. She's like, you crazy? You ain't even got no fucking license. I ain't buying your car. So I wanted this colorless. I wanted this 2-door colorless. So I'm just like, yo, fucking. I'm like, yo, you think you could buy me a whip or whatever the case may be? So she's like, you fucking crazy, boy. So I go down the street, nigga. I go to this dude, and I just buy this car off him, Dandada. So when I buy the car off him, the same nigga that I brought a car off, you know what I'm saying? The nigga that was giving my boy the nigga that gave my boy the 14 grams, he lost the 14 grams, Dandada. He was trying to act like he knew what he was doing. He got for it. My boy, the nigga gave him back a 7 grams. He lost that shit. The nigga tried to give him a Billy. He just kept on lowering it and lowering it. And this thing just kept doing shit with it, losing it, just, you know what I'm saying? Just fucking up the pack. Just kept on fucking up the pack. You know what I'm saying? So boom, homie. So we get into this situation that, you know what I'm saying? We got beef with niggas. We start to have beef with the niggas on the block, Dandada. You know what I'm saying? So when we got beef with the niggas on the block, it gets a little hectic. You know what I'm saying? So boom. So homie had a lot of beef because he was pulling up on niggas. Niggas wanted to fight and niggas just pulling out and they just busting. You know what I'm saying? A lot of niggas.
Go ahead.
You good? You good, Giggity? You good? We good?
You hear me?
Yeah.
Go.
Boom. So niggas just busting shots. And shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So shit gets a little scarce. That we get into this situation that, boom, a situation happened to occur that I happened to bang the nigga, Dandada. So my boy was running by these older niggas trying to run up on him. So cause he happened to whip out or shoot at them prior to the fence, Dandada. So they try to get tough. So I banged the nigga. And when I banged the nigga, a nigga kind of sliced me, Dandada. So when I bang this big nigga, Dandada, I'm a young nigga. I bang this nigga, this other nigga slices me, Dandada. So when he slices me, my boy happened to poke the other nigga up, Dandada, whatever the case may be. The nigga happened to scream. He happened to run right there. He happened to fucking thing. He happened to call the cops and shit like that, and call the ambulance. Cops come, whatever the case may be, Dandada. You know what I'm saying? They see me bleeding. They ask me, yo, what's up with you, Dandada? Who poked you up and shit like that? So I'm just like, yo, I just got into a fight. They're like, yo, kill yourselves. Y'all niggas just kill yourselves or whatever the case may be. So that situation right there happened to get my boy locked up. So my boy gets locked up, Dandada. So there was some nigga in his baby mama's crib. So I go to his baby mama's crib, Dandada, while my boy's locked up, Dandada, and I go to his baby mama's crib, and I'm just sitting there with my other boy, Dandada, because there was this nigga that used to live in my basement, and he used to walk me to school, you know what I'm saying? And he used to just walk me to school, just follow me, because my mom, after my my dad died later, like a little like 5 years, 6 years later, my mom married Muscle, this nigga named Black, which he was Muscle for this nigga named Tree in New York and shit like that. She happened to marry him, she was started to go out with Muscle, with some dude that was Muscle for some other millionaire, you know what I'm saying? So he started to just be in my life, which is like my stepfather, you know what I'm saying? He started being in my life. So he used to do a lot of shit, like I come through buy a gun that's broken and stuff like that, just leave it in the drawer, and I come back the next day, it'll be fixed and shit like that. No lie. Or working a pistol that wasn't working, that shit would just end up fixing shit like that. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? But I know he fixed it and shit like that. But I'm just like, yo, this nigga thing, he's from Baltimore. That's how I lead to the Baltimore situation, you know what I'm saying? So
no, listen, Dundada.
Yeah.
I gotta go pray. I got some other calls I gotta make. So we're gonna make this a part 2, Dundada. Because it seems like you're gonna be going and going and going, Dundada. So listen, get some shout out.
We didn't even get nowhere. We didn't even get to nothing. We didn't get to nothing. The nigga killed 25 people at the church.